Sairam, everyone. I'm sorry about the delay in connecting myself properly. We will I will give an overview of what we discussed last week. Swami is impressing on us that all the paths which we follow, whether it is bhakti and jnana and so on, are the same thing. One is the state of being a fruit. The other one is becoming an unripe fruit, then which is bhakti. And then we become the fruit itself, which is jnana, vairagya, and then jnanam. So those were the concepts which Swami has introduced to us. Because once we have the jnana, then we become one with the Lord, merger with the Lord. So that's what Swami was impressing on us. I think we will just read that again, Sister Kalyani, and everyone can come. Sorry.
Bhakta. Then where does bhakti come in? Swami. We have come to the very beginning again. Earlier than jnana, it is in the form of bhakti. Earlier than bhakti, it is in the form of anurakti, affection. All these are one. Anurakti is the flower. Bhakti is the fruit. It is ripe as jnanam. Vairagyam is the sweet, juicy final stage. Without one, you cannot have the next. In order to tend the fruit until the juice and taste are developed, you must practice daily prayer, etc., mentioned above. But from the first, have in view the oneness of all. Understand that there is no other.
Thank you, Sister Kalyani. So I think this is what Swami I sort of summarized. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So this is what Swami, this is what I sort of summarized. So because we may ask, when does we do prayers and so on? Swami says the prayers prepare us. So from what we can see, our daily prayers, whatever we practice, our normal sadhana, which all of us undertake, all of them fall under this stage of anurakti, where we have an affection for the Lord, and we are still active in the world. Swami calls that the stage of a flower. But the flower has to become an unripe fruit, which is the stage of bhakti, where we want the Lord only for the Lord's sake. We are only pining for the love of the Lord, not for anything attached to this world, but just to have the Lord. Which stage is the bhakti, and Swami calls that an unripe fruit. But that unripe fruit has to gradually become jnanam, or the fruit, with total knowledge that we are the Atman, the world is ephemeral, and so on. And once that jnanam comes, naturally the vairagyam of the final stage, that the entire world will sort of drop off, and then we are ready for that merger. And Swami says they all know none of them are different paths. It is the flower maturing into a fruit. So different stages of that progress brings to light various aspects of our sadhana. So this is my understanding. I will stop here. If anyone has something to comment or share your thoughts, please go inside.
But you said in the original Telugu, the last two sentences are not there. Is that correct?
The state sentences are slightly different. The way it is translated, Swami is saying it is all one. Don't think that they're different or separate. But the way it is translated, as Brother Sivadas last week mentioned, it's as if it's an Advaita philosophy itself. But I guess it's an Advaita philosophy related to the sadhana. Here, it is all one path.
Okay.
It is, I think it's similar to Swami saying, all religions are one. There's only religion of love. But that doesn't mean that religions don't exist and different practices don't exist. They all exist, but we should all understand that they're all part of the different stages of development of love towards God. It's the exact same thing. So when Swami says it's only one religion, the religion of love, it's exactly this. What Swami says is the love for God is the one which is connecting all of them, the underlying all of these sadhanas, and that we should understand that oneness is the love for God. How how it manifests at different stages may be slightly different. I think that's my understanding, Brother Sai.
Sairam, Brother Armo, I have a question. This affection, Swami is talking about Anurakti. Can you kindly elaborate on that one? Because my concern is on the devotional, on the bhakti side, this is relevant. Where was it earlier? Say for a person who is doing the service, he can also realize God. Then how that comes in here into this, how that is fitting into this scenario? Thank you, sir.
Sairam, brother, I will just will ask others to comment also, rather than me speaking. Anyone else who would like to share your thoughts, please? So brother is asking, so the seva doesn't seem to fall anywhere here. So where does that fall? All the people who are doing seva, thinking that they are going to reach one day, they feel they are going to be left out.
Sairam. Before we had bhakti, we had to have the faith. Faith is very important. This is that foundation for the bhakti, that devotion. For example, that our mother is there. That mother is introduced the father. Then we have to get faith on that he's my father. Then we are going to put in that love and father. Before that, we don't know about father. First, we had to have the devotion. We must have the faith. Faith is the very important thing. There's the foundation for the devotion. After that, coming that jnana. That is my understanding. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts?
Sai Ram, brother, this is Shivani. I just want to say this. This paragraph or this Swami's discourse was so powerful. The week I kind of looked into that. Am I really having affection with Bhagawan or bhakti? Because in bhakti, as you have well mentioned, there is no two-way relationship. It's only one way. Of course, Swami give us his grace, but are you really loving and having that bhakti towards to get something in return? It was for me to introspect, where am I? And it was a quite nice journey to reflect upon my, where am I on the stage and what is my next step? So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sairam, it looks like service is the final service come, if it is very selfless service dedicated to Swami, then it is in the final stages, not like Anurakti, as Brother Arul is questioning. No? So at least we can say the bhakti state. When we have bhakti, which means, as Brother explained and others explained, that we know only of God. We talk of God, think of God, and no worldly ambitions in us. Only God realization or love for love's sake towards Swami, towards reality, God. So in that state, the service can come. So we can accommodate the service if the service is selfless service, then we can accommodate in bhakti state. And even we can take it beyond also, even in the Vairaki on the last stage, the Vairaki itself, Bhagawan has said, I read it recently, if you are purely in meditation, the complete self-absorption, it also it benefits the world a lot. So service is could be the ultimate thing, but generally we can equate here for average level, we can equate it to bhakti. That's what I am thinking about, Saira.
Sairam, we already talk about that all three things. Now we can we were talking about the three-wheeler. That we can put that whatever we have here prefer or comfortable for us, we can put it in the front wheel, and we can reach that ultimate goal. I guess that the bhakti is that we already spoke about Hanuman. That he was that example for that bhakti. He liberated from the bhakti. Then also that jnana, that devotion, also the same thing, that we can, for the devotion also we can go to liberation. Jnana is that that all three things are very, very important to get that liberation, my understanding that. Thank you, Sairam.
So Sairam brother, here they are talking about the jnana, vairagya, and the bhakti. The end of the bhakti, you get, Swami says, you get the jnana. So for the jnana, once you get the jnana, you get the sweet use out of that one. That means you are vairagya. So whatever you have seen, everything is all one. So so the service is just to calm the mind in order to achieve our goal. So service, whatever Sivada said, you are doing selfless service. You are God's work only you are doing. This is the part of the bhakti. You cannot separate that one. This is make you understand everyone same. You are seeing other person is same Atma is there. So if we are doing, so we are talking about the bhakti only. So service is part of the thing to do some work to calm the mind only. Thank you, Sairam brother.
Sairam brother. Anyone else would like to share your thought, please?
I also want to share my view here, because I believe the service comes out of love. Because when the selfless service, that means we assume or think, whatever it is, or we believe that we and the other person who is being served are the same. Because when we had this discussion, when Hanuman was doing a service, say whatever for Rama, because out of love for him, anything is out of love. That love is bhakti. That is my understanding. Maybe you can give me some sort of a different opinion. That is my thinking, Sairam.
Sairam brother. Sairam. Anyone else would like to share?
Sairam brother, I just wanted to share what Swami has mentioned in the earlier chapters about the definition of seva. Swami mentions that seva is when you offer the bliss that is generated within your heart to the God within. That's why Swami also says, bliss is my food. This is, I think, I don't remember which chapter, it may be second or third chapter in Sandeha Nivarini. Swami clearly mentions that seva is something when the bliss that is generated while doing the act of God, whichever you're doing, whichever act, any karma or any thought, if it generates that bliss within you, which is everlasting, and that is offered to me, that is real service. And if we reconcile that point with bhakti is the fruit in this particular paragraph, it is it is very coherent, and it is again very consistent. It gives me great joy that the consistency that Swami is kind of maintaining across all the chapters, like it just gives a lot of joy to even understand. And even the when this question was raised, I felt very happy that Swami has already given answers to these things. And if we can actually make some connections between what we have read before and now, I think we have got all the answers. And that's why he said bhakti is the fruit. Fruit is something which we eat. So Swami is telling bliss is my food, and offering that fruit to him is service. Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to?
So I also want to thank the brother here, because Swami is equating a farmer, and when the harvest is, when the people are enjoying their harvest, that is his ananda. That is his mission is as well. Thank you, Sairam, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. So I'll just, for the benefit of everyone, I'll just read. It is from chapter 4 of Sandeha Nivarini. And so I will just read, because that's the only one place Swami has used the word seva, so it's relevant and good that Pratsita brought it to our attention. So I will just read. I will just read the question and answer. It is only by my understanding, isn't it, Swami, that one can ever be immersed in the thoughts of Sai, the Lord, giving up all other activities and duties. Had I not understood that much, I would have wasted precious time. Because Swami is asking, have you understood whatever I have said? Are you practicing? For that, the Bhakta is saying, Swami, I know that, I should give up all other activities and I had to follow your commands. And then Swami goes on to say this, good, my dear boy, how sad will the farmer be if the seeds he has planted do not sprout and yield harvest? So too, if the seeds of true wisdom that I saw do not come up as good saplings and give good harvest, I too am affected. On the other hand, if they grow well and fructify into a harvest of Ananda, how happy I would be. That is my food. This is the seva you should do to me. Okay, so just to, I thought I'll just read the relevant, because sometimes Swami has already tackled some of them. Then I think, again, Brother Arul's question is, he has asked, where does seva fit in here? And he has already answered. Because bhakti is also explained by Swami as called bhaja sevaya. That means you pray to the Lord through serving him. Okay. Then I think the question comes, what about the service which we do outside in the world? I think that's where the question comes. Because I think everyone, Swami always talks about selfless service. And I think generally what we do is we will say, okay, we will allot an hour a week and then go and do something which is not for ourselves. That is only a starting point. It is not, we have not mastered it. Because what Swami expects is our entire life should be that. Then we are all scared, what will happen to our families, we have a job, we have a duty, all that. So that those have to be slowly transmuted into bhakti. I think that's my understanding. So all bhakti, jnana, and seva can be in the Anurakti stage also. They can be in the Bhakti stage also. They can be in the Jnanam stage also. But the thing is, as Brother Rajagopal was saying, which wheel is in the front will change slightly. But ultimately, the Jnana wheel has to be in the front. Whether, if you start out doing work also doesn't matter, because at that point in time, the Jnana will drive everything. That Lord alone exists is the one which is key. And we will still be active in the world. We may be active in the world. We may be doing things in the world. But the love for God will be so intense. Anything and everything we do will be a service to the Lord. And so it is not separate. Again, to think, if people think that we are doing service, we are only interested in service, and we don't want to worry about bhakti, or it is not so. That is why Swami is saying it's all one. If you think it is separate and it's different and you're following that, then you are not getting anywhere. So a person has to have all three for it to be something. For example, Swami will say, if you see a fruit, for example, we're talking about a fruit. The fruit will look beautiful, it will smell beautiful, and it will taste also sweet. So everything has to be there for a fruit to be fruit. So the final fruit will have the seva, it will have bhakti, it will have jnana. So all three are equally essential, and we can't say I want to only look at the fruit, then that means you are not eating the fruit or smelling the fruit. You should smell the fruit and you should eat it. Then only the experience is complete. That's my understanding. I will stop here. If anyone has something to say, please do.
So I like to add one more thing, brother, about the Hanuman. Even the Hanuman was doing all the service, but he's focused with the God all the time. He says Namaswarnam and Ram all the time. He never come out from that one. Thank you, brother Sairam.
I also have to add something that the doctors working in the hospital, they are doing this self-service. They say that, Swami says that too, that when they are doing the work, they are thinking that we are serving to the God, that the patient is the God, that we are serving to Swami. So that work is change in the worship. They are doing the work for Swami, then the work is going to worship, and then the Swami says that you don't have to come to the mandir and pray for me. You do your work at the hospital, and this is come to me. Don't worry about that. Jnana or bhakti, anything. You have to do the best service for your God. That is come to everything. This Swami says. That is my understanding. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Thank you. Okay, so if everyone is okay, then we will proceed to the next pair of question and answer.
Bhakta, at least to keep up appearances in the world, one has sometimes to say, "This is mine." What is one to do then? Swami, of course you may have to say so, but simply because you say so, what need is there for you to feel separateness between I and you? When you travel in a carriage, do you take the carriage as I? Look at the sun. He gets reflected in a small pot filled with water, in a broad river, in a mirror, or on a polished pot. For this reason, does the sun feel that all these things are he? Does he get sad when the pot breaks or the river gets dry? This is exactly like that. If you take I to be the body, then it is all bother. If you don't take it so, you will shine like the sun, independent of anything else. Besides, you will be immanent everywhere.
Thank you very much, sister. So it's pure Advaita, everyone would see. So Swami, so the disciples, the devotee is asking, oh Lord, if in a normal conversation, if somebody asks whose does it belong, we'll say this is mine. So what are we to do then? Is the question from the devotee. Then Swami says, of course we have to say that. But just because you say so doesn't mean that you should feel any different between I and you. So, and then Swami, of course, a very nice analogy he's giving us. Because if we really identify with the sun, we will not be worried if when the pot breaks or, a puddle dries up. So that's what Swami says. So it is all about identification. And so I will stop here. I will open it up for any comments or your thoughts, please. I guess it's all done.
I think this the differences this will vanish in a person only he realizes the state of the jnani. That is my thinking on this paragraph. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam.
Sairam, I think it's what Swami means is the Advaita. It's an inner state of being, nothing to do with outward this thing. So outwardly, a jnani can be look like anyone else. So it depends on the inner state. That's what Swami trying to say, I think. Sairam.
Anyone else would like to comment on this?
I would.
So my understanding is from this, I'm understanding that this is a way that one should practice vairagya. Is it?
What did you say? Sister, this is the way to, again, can you repeat, Sister Shwan?
Detachment. In the previous conversation, we were talking about vairagya. So how I am interpreting is, as Swami said, that, as son, he's not affected by whatever happens. So same as a human being, nothing should affect us, though we are doing what we have to do, but whatever happening is happening, good, bad, everything is good. That's how you get detached.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Swami is talking about that final stage of vairagya, I guess.
So Sairam, brother, so separateness between I and you. So this is the thing coming under Advaita stage. So river merge to the ocean. So there's one, there's no two. So when you come to that level, you don't separate that one. So there's no Dvaitya stage, double. Thank you, Sairam, brother.
Thank you very much. Okay, then we will move on to the next question and answer pair, I guess.
Bhakta, that is as much as to say, each must first discover for himself who he is. Swami, exactly. Inquire into that first. Of course, for those who are not competent, this will be too hard. So those experienced in this line say that such men should not be told these things. If you tell, you are yourself Brahman, you have attained moksha, you are in that stage. To those not competent, they will do no sadhana, they will act without any rule or order, and they will pay no regard to right and wrong. This must be revealed only by a guru or by the command of the Lord. Those who have the thirst and the determination to undergo the discipline, of course, can ask about it, but it must be practiced. There is no use simply hearing it and repeating, all is one. That is meaningless.
Sairam sister. So it's Swami is because Swami has taught us this ultimate jnana, and then he is going back to reality, taking us to the reality. Because what happens is, we will say everyone is God. God is in everything. We use it very conveniently, but it's not experiential. Or sometimes we will say, if I am saying something, it is, you will also say, it is Swami's work, because I want something done, so I will call a few people and say, it is Swami's work, please come and do it. These are tendencies which everyone sort of develops in the path, I would say, sometimes misguided statements. And Swami says it's meaningless if you're not completely, it's like, telling we are doing selfless service. Swami provides everyone an opportunity and he encourages. So for example, Brother Rajagopal said there are doctors who come to the hospital and serve. Everyone does it part-time, they have some income somewhere, they come and do. And when it dries out, they will go back and do. Just the way we do part-time seva. Once a week we go and do something for half an hour, 1 hour, and we say, oh, we have done sevas. So the thing is, Swami is telling that is the ultimate stage where I see God everywhere. But to get to that place, we have to follow what we have to do in terms of prayer, seva. Because many people say, I'm doing service because they are lazy to come and sit in the bhajan for 1 hour. Okay, in Prashanthi Nilayam, whatever service you do, when the bhajan is on, everyone closes their service, have to come and sit. Because people sometimes give excuses and not do things. Of course, if the work is such that you have to do, and if someone is dying on the operation theater and if you are there, you should do your work there. You can't just say, I let the person remain, I will come back. But the thing is, it is for each person to know for themselves whether they are giving an excuse or whether they're really doing something full. But the thing is, sometimes people have to start somewhere. Swami is so understanding. So he will say, just start somewhere, just do some service. And that way he will encourage everyone according to their level of growth, their level of stage. But if we are selfish, because we think we are doing something and we need to get something, then it's all tainted. So that's why Swami is actually warning us. Don't fall into this. It is only for a guru to tell someone. You just cannot start thinking, I am Brahma, and go about Sairam. So I will stop here. Others can share your thoughts and comments.
Sairam, this reminds me, I just thought of telling this because of Swami saying this. A long time back, I studied Kandapuranam. Sivadas is there. Sivadas, correct me if I am wrong, but that's what I remember. I listened to the whole original thing. So, for Rishi Kashyapa and Mayadevi, mother, Suran, all three brothers. And Kashyapa, when they, whatever, 3-4 age or whatever, the father, Rishi Kashyapa, start to initiating the education, preaching. And he said, he's starting to teach, like, there is a thing called dharma. And as soon as Mayadevi is, she was sent by purposely to marry Kasyapa and to get these children so they will be powerful by Sukracharya, the Asura Guru. So she, as soon as she heard this sentence, I said thing called Dharma, Kasyapa started teaching. She told Kasyapa, stop, my children don't need this, I will teach them. And then she asked Sukracharya, the Asura Guru, to teach them. And he starting saying to Surat and the brothers, you are Brahman. You don't have to be afraid of anyone or anything. And then things go on. So I just told, so how that is, and then, everyone knows the story. But so this Advaita philosophy, if taken it in a wrong concept, that's why they don't teach to everyone, Swami says here. So I just thought of telling the Sairam.
Sairam.
So Sairam brother, so I like the thing, the first discover for himself. For that one, this paragraph's talking about that who have the thirst and determination to undergo the discipline. So discipline is a very, very important in this one, because if you spread good seeds, you get a good harvest. So the person who doesn't have the knowledge, or then he's not going to understand anything. So at the same time, some people have the knowledge, but they don't practice. So they also come under the same category. For an example, some tape, some CD or DVD can play so many good spiritual words and everything, but it doesn't understand, it doesn't enjoy that one. Same thing, some people can talk very well, but they don't practice and they don't feel. They are like a CD or DVD. So when you practice and everything, only you can achieve the goal. Thank you, Sairam brother.
Sairam. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sairam, Bhagawan is in a way is saying inquire into that first. So who one he is, who am I? Who am I? Everybody has to take that inquiry part. So here, as Brother Dasan quoted at the end of the paragraph, Bhagavan is saying, those who have the thirst and the determination to undergo the discipline, of course, can ask about it. So they can ask the Guru or Bhagavan or read that material and start to practice, who am I? And they can try to find out who he is. But for a person not inclined at all towards inquiry or towards spiritual sadhana or anything, if we say that Brother Vimanesan rightly pointed out, the Sukracharya was telling the Advaitic philosophy to the three sons, but this philosophy exactly same. There's no difference, but interpretation was given in such a way you don't need to worry about God. You are God yourself. Everything. It's very nice context there. So here we cannot go and tell everybody about that you are God, you are Brahman, you don't need to do any sadhana. Not at all. Don't do that. It will come to bad result. So in the other page, the paragraph down, Bhagavan is saying we are the middling. We are neither so bound to the world nor elevated to the sublime and divine state. these Vahinis are meant for the middlings who aspire to practice and reach that they know their truth. So those people, it could be, they could try to understand the inquiry and try to find out the answer, and they can feel that they are one with God. That is the Shankaracharya's whole purpose of putting the Advaita philosophy to the world is for the aspirant to enlighten the aspirant. So when we understand the oneness, when we understand there's only one intellectually, when we understand, then real practice comes, real sadhana comes. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. This inquiry part is very important for a sadhana. So that will give the much added qualification for the spiritual sadhana. To be the real sadhana, we need the basic understanding that there's no two. There's only one. That we have to know that. So Bhagavan is saying gradually here, but this is what I could say. But you can correct me. I may be wrong, but you can correct. Anybody can correct. Brother can correct. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts or comment, observation?
In many discourses, we've heard Swami saying, I'm God, think of always think and say like, I am God. And whenever we think negative things or behaviors, jealousy, anger, or ego, why is it coming? I'm not dog, I am not dog. So Swami kept saying us to practice thinking first and then behaving like I'm God. God is with you, in you, around you. And I heard someone saying, pretend, tend, and end. You start pretending you are God, and then you will tend to become God, and you will end up becoming God. I thought of mentioning Swami keep almost in every discourse, Swami saying, I'm God, I'm God, I'm God. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Yeah, one time that Swami was asking, giving that interview with that Altrucker, then the Swami was asking, how are you and who are you? Then Swami, the Altrucker answered that, I am God, Swami. So Swami immediately said, go and give the tradition for the people now, he said. Then Swami said, if you are saying that God, you must have the whole quality, you must build up the qualities. Then only you can say that God. We have to go through all that purification and purify ourselves first. Then only we can claim that. But we don't know that where we are. No, we have to go through that all the process to go into that ultimate state. No? So then at last we will go and bound to that ultimate that God. And until then we have to do our best to get rid of our impurity, and we have to sacrifice ourselves until the last time. That then we come to that God. Then we know that we are at the ultimate goal. Until then, we cannot claim that we are God. That actually we are God we all came from God, but still we are bound with that all the desires and everything. So thank you, Sai.
Sairam.
Sai Ram, brother. My interpretation is, I don't know if I'm thinking right. When the question is asked, first discover for yourself who he is. Yes, we are God. Bhagawan has said, you are God, I am God, we all are God. How I interpreting this conversation is, as it has been discussed, that, you know what, are you living to that level? Every day there should be little improvement. That's how I am seeing is getting closer to become more wiser, more in bliss, see him, feel him, experience him all the time. And oneness with him is every day the things which agitate me today, does it agitate me tomorrow as well? my reaction to the same situation is same today and same tomorrow. Like every day, not even every minute, I would say. That's what how I interpreting that. Are you really practicing? It's not the years, it's like every second, are you putting things he's saying in practice, whatever we are learning? And that's how you feel yourself. Nobody has to vouch that you are moksha or you are bliss, as we have learned in the previously, that people, those are renounced, they might be living like a normal person, but the way they deal with the situation, their surrounding environment, they are so much in peace within themselves, forget about others, but they are in bliss all the time. That's how I see it.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Sairam, brother, I have just a thought here. See, Swami has said, who are not competitive. That's mean you have to have something prior to that to compete with something, right? So that's mean the basic, then only you started to inquire yourself who you are, right? Until to question yourself, at least you have to do some, before that you have to do a lot of things in order to ask that question. I don't think that question will arise just because of somebody, you have to question yourself. So to be a competition, you have to follow the basic things what Swami has said about his teaching. Then only you will start to question yourself. So then only you can be a competitive person. So that's just I wanted to add to that. Even that to have a question, that's you have come to a level to at least to ask that question. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please? Okay, then maybe I'll just some final thoughts on this, and then we can move on. See, I think from what Swami is telling is, I think then we can ask the question. People may ask the question, then why did Swami say that we are all divine? Okay, I think Swami has already answered that question also here. Swami is only a person who has reached that stage that they have realized that they are Brahman, can say that to anyone else. That's why Swami says only a guru guru or someone who has already reached that stage can make that statement. So from that we should understand this is a statement. It's not for us to repeat to anyone in this world. Only Swami is qualified to make that statement. So for us, it's all about practice. It's all about, it's not for us to repeat and tell anyone, you are also God. Because we don't have the authority to say that, because we have not reached that stage, nor do we understand what is Godhead. At least, so the thing is, that is why Swami is emphasizing that this must be practiced until we perfect it. And I think this has been already echoed by many those who have said. So until then, we have to follow the discipline which has been laid down. We should do the sadhana which has been prescribed. And we should continue to practice in our own selves and try to find God within us and reach a point at some time after a practice that we ourselves are divine. At that stage, we will be completely selfless. We will have total vairagyam. We will have total jnanam in experiential way. And I think Swami it's a warning to us. Is the way I look at it. Don't repeat what I say without you having understood it, without you having realized it. So I thought I would just mention that.
Sairam, I think it's entire study circle we studied and everything. This is very, very important point we have to realize. To maybe we have to practice self-criticize, self-realize, Until reach that point, maybe we can take so many birth or anything. Until that point, Swami was saying, we shouldn't judge other people. We shouldn't talk to other people like you are God and thing. I think this is very important point. We have to practice until we realize. Sairam.
Sairam, sister.
Sairam, brother. Is it possible for you to explain little more on who are not competent? What is Swami is trying to say here? Wow, that with that wording, who are
See,
not competent.
competent means one who is qualified, one who has
Yeah,
the
that's the
capacity.
thing. What who he thinks that reach that, who are not competent mean he's saying something you're supposed to have it, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing I'm trying to find out on this.
So, I will, so I will open it up. Can others share your thoughts, please? Who is competent?
Brother Sairam, they are in the following pages. These
Yes.
answers are coming actually very closely.
Yes, sir. Yes, brother.
Yeah.
So, okay, then we will go to that actually. Okay, so I think, sister, Swami is basically saying the way it looks like the Swami is telling whoever is reading this is not competent yet. Okay, is the way I look at it. So the thing is, when will we know we are competent? God will reveal to us we are competent. Okay, our Guru will say you are competent now. Until then, we are not competent. We should work towards that competency. We should work towards that state, is my understanding.
Is there any basic thing you think of, please?
Total vairagyam.
Sairam, I would like to say this. This Swami, that's why, again, like Gayatri Mantra, the Advaita philosophy was within a close circle even for centuries, even after Adi Shankaracharya. But Swami make it, at least for his devotees, he exposed his devotees to this philosophy. But then to understand properly it and practice whatever, that is, it's up to each individual. It's these things are, you can't say, okay, you are qualified to do that and you are not. It's everyone. It has to come from within the Sairam.
Thank you.
Sairam, brother. So my understanding is competent. You're supposed to have good qualities. You have to ask the questions, first of all, whether I have the good qualities, especially the love, the marvelous love. You cannot even compare motherly love even. It's above that one. So we don't have that, even if we take the jnana. So we are using our five senses to identify something. If you reach to the jnanam, you don't need to use our physical eye to see anything. So you have that point, you can see anything in the world. You can see anywhere. So at the same time, your feet is everywhere. You are everywhere. That is my understanding too.
Sairam, can I share one? Just, I don't know whether it's competent when, as Brother Aruna said, you will know, Bhagawan will reveal. Just to share little experience that, I'm a trainer by profession and whatnot, and I'm like in the science center. I want to be education coordinator to serve, to make changes in the SSC program. Things are not running properly. But at the same time, I said to Bhagawan, whenever I'm competent to serve that position, then you should make me. But education-wise, I believe I was competent. And you won't believe, for 6 years, I was going to president, vice president, whoever you can think of. I want to be education coordinator. And somehow something happened. I was not selected. I was not, and I was taken aback. I said, I believe I'm quite competent enough to be a coordinator. But at the same time, I forgot that the conversation I had with my Bhagawan, that whenever I'm ready, then only you give me that. Otherwise, do not. Believe me, for 6 years, he took me to the path where he built so many skills, so many skills. And when that position came, I reflect back, oh my God, 6 years ago, I would not have done all these things. My thinking was not compassionate, loving. I was more, improving. It's more Shivani is doing something. For 6 years, somehow Bhagwan created those challenges that I was not recruited. I was not. And then I realized, when he knows that you're ready to serve me because you ask me, and when you're ready, I will make sure. And it was just came. Just, I don't know. That's how I interpret it.
Sairam.
Sairam.
For example, we are going to reach a place now, as a certain destination. We have to have the landmarks. No? We can find the landmarks on the way that we are going the right path. No? Likewise, that we are learning a lot of things from Swami. Then we have to put into practice. Then we can see that it is giving some changes in me. So we can understand that we are getting getting benefit from that. Then only we can understand what is that benefit we are getting, or where am I? That way I can understand that that teaching, Swami's teaching is properly working in me. That's the way I can say my understanding. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam, brother, is that competent come when you start to question, when you are ready to question who you are? That is the stage Swami is referring as a competent. I think after listening to all these conversation, thank you for everybody's comment. But I think that is where the competent, that is the stage. When you reach that stage only, Swami is saying, inquire yourself. That if that stage comes only, you can understand yourself. Like you can start questioning yourself and do things. Thank you.
You are.
So I'm going to share my view here. Like I think every human being is eligible for this. They can be a competent on this one. But only qualification Swami is putting in this paragraph is here. Those who have the thirst and determination is to undergo the discipline. Of course, can ask about it. That is my understanding. Because every human being is eligible for this, but they should have the thirst and determination to reach that sort of to do some sort of practice or sadhana, whatever it is. They are every one of us are eligible. No, this is not for animals, but for the human beings. Everybody is competent to this. But sisters and brothers, you have excellently, I would say, you have put your ideas very, very nicely. This is my view of looking at this one. Because Swami, I don't think he separates anybody from anything. He doesn't have any difference between me and anybody else. So he treats his creation alike. He doesn't have any differences. But he's stipulating the methods to us. Okay, if you are competent, if you are you really serious in adhering to these principles, then you are eligible. That is my understanding. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So we will move on to the next question and answer.
Bhakta, Swami Shankara has already said, Vishwam Darpana Drishyam Mananarkare Tulyam Hi Antaragat. I'm sorry, I just butchered that, etc. The world, if you really penetrate into its inner meaning, is like a city seen through a mirror. This vision that the Jagat is unreal, that is all Maya. Is this for common people or for jnanis also? Swami, the jnani's eye sees all things as Brahman. The ajnani, or the person without jnana, cannot understand whatever is said. So all sastras are intended to benefit the middlings.
So this is what Brother Sivadas was referring to.
Yeah.
So the Bhakta is asking, the world is, this is in Dakshinamurti's Stotram, Sri Adi Shankaracharya has said this. And he has also said the same concept in Viveka Chudamani, in another work of his. So it is a Vedantic thought, which Swami is again talking to us about. That is, this world is a city seen through the mirror of Maya. So the disciple is asking, Swami, is this for common people or for jnanis? So then Swami categorizes them into 3 categories. There's Swami saying jnanis, they don't, they're already seeing Brahman everywhere. Okay. Then the ajnani is a person who doesn't have any clue and he will never understand whatever is stated. He's saying all this is for the people who are in the middle, who are neither ajnanis nor ajnanis. So we should understand, many of us, the Sai fold want to think, we should, get everyone introduced to Swami and all that. Or we should make Swami's message for the world, all that. But, how many people, if you take 6 billion people, how many people know Swami? Not too many people. Because he has chosen a few people, I think because of some good deeds we may have done, that, he has taken upon himself to directly guide. I'm sure he's guiding others also in a different way. But us, he has said, okay, you guys can learn this, as he has given it to us. So we sort of fall in the middling. And all this is for us to know and understand this world is nothing but some, an imaginary thing which we are seeing through a mirror of Maya. So that's what I understand. So I will pause here and I will ask others to share their thoughts, please.
So according to this one, my understanding is, even though Jagat is unreal, this is all Maya, in Jnani's point, he will see divinity. It could be any living being. He will see the Brahman, so he doesn't differentiate anything. Ajnani, he will differentiate. That is my understanding.
Sairam, I have a question on this one. Say, Swami is taking example of a mirror. We are looking through a mirror. This world is unreal. For a common man, we are using this mirror and we are seeing all these unreal. We understand that part. That what kind of mirror the jnani is using? Is he using any mirror, or he sees everything as a Brahman? Like, how is that Swami is taking an example of that mirror? How that can be related to the jnani? But jnani. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, brother. Anyone who would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sairam, actually, I not fully understood, but I guess what brother is saying. So the city seen through the mirror is a reflection. So the world is a reflection. City seen through the mirror. Now there's a city and there's a mirror, and we are looking at the city in the mirror. It is a reflection. So for the jnani, there is no mirror, as brother explained earlier. So now 3 things: so real object and mirror and the reflection. Now we remove the mirror, and 3 minus 1 is not 2, is 1. Brother explained this earlier. Brother Arnodin explained this one. 3 take away 1 is not 2. Here is 1 because yeah. So when the mirror is removed, no reflection. So that this mirror is the ignorance actually. You know, that the small children can understand the bigger things, no, like that. So Ajnani is unable to understand the real fact. For example, if a small child thinks that the world is flat and they are on the world surface. But for a higher student, is world is a globe, and we don't know whether we are standing, we are standing the bottom of the earth or the top of the earth, the side of the earth. You know, there's no up and down and left and east and north to a globe in the space. So likewise, these we the we are unable to understand the real fact. That's ignorance. So to remove the ignorance, we have to go into the sadhana, regular systematic sadhana.
Yes.
Sadhana. And reading Sai literature also is sadhana. 10 points of 9-point code of conduct, regular study of Sai literature. So now I got lost. So so
he asked about. I think he asked about the mirror. Mirror stands for what? I think so. No,
yeah, I think I answered then. Ignorance is the mirror. Yeah. So we don't use the term Maya. Also, Maya is a term used for ignorance. Yeah, Saira.
This is Saku Auntie. I have a question. Middlings. Who is middlings?
Yeah.
Are we the middlings?
All sastras are intended to benefit the middling. So these sastras we are studying, so we are the middlings, no? So because we are the middlings, we have taken up to study this one. How many people are in the Sai Center? In the Sai Center, there are hundreds of people. How many of us are here in this study circle? People want their own study circle to be comfortable with talking anything they like. This is a sincere study circles going on. How many of Sai devotees are here? So actually this time was allocated not to disturb the Sai Centres study circles. So, but people are not coming here. So those really interested to know their truth, to know about Bhagavan, to get devoted to God, those people are middlings. And we are studying the Shastra. This is the Shastra, more than the Shastra, the wine is. So, to my understanding, we are all middlings. Sairam brother will explain more.
Thank you, Sivadas.
Okay, thank you.
So, I think Sairam. Yes, sister.
I was about to say, brother, nice explanation from brother Sivadas in regards to the 3 plus 1 minus 1 is 1. That's a nice one you are bringing back again. And that the 1 is the Maya. So all the Jnani, except Jnanis, we all are seeing through the Mayas. That's the what it's said about in the mirror point of view. And Jnanis will not have the mirror. Thank you, Sairam.
Okay, Sairam. So I will just like to, maybe I will just mirror analogy only, but I will give a slightly different one for the question which brother asked. Sivadas has already explained, but I got another analogy. So there is, you go to these fairs, I don't know, this something like Wonderland or somewhere, and they have room full of mirrors. Different mirrors showed, different shapes and all that. One person will look as, like 30 people, 40 people in that room. So into that room, there are three people going. There's an adult who understands this is a mirror of, mirror room, and I am going, and I know what I'm going to see. Then there's a child which sort of understands what a mirror is, but first time going into that. Then you have a baby who is a small toddler going in. All three have gone in. For the little toddler, there will be so many kids, and that kid will try to play with those kids because the kid doesn't understand what a mirror is. And even if you try to explain to that child, this is a mirror, it is reflecting, there are many mirrors. It will not understand. All the objects you are seeing is all imaginary. It will not understand at all. The middle level, where there's a youngster who understands what's a mirror, you can explain to that person, see how the mirrors are, all these images are coming up. They're not real. It's you who is real. You are reflected there. That child understands. But for the adult who has already gone through and understands it, he will also see, but he doesn't need the explanation. Okay. So Jnani, if he is alive in this world, he will walk around in this world and he will see this, and he will not imagine that it is real. And he doesn't need the education that it is unreal. But for a person who has still not reached that stage, but who has some ability to grasp the subject, is falling in the middling. When that person is explained, that person can slowly understand and come to experientially realize it. So it is something like that. So like Swami is walking around in this world, Swami has also walked. Did he see many people? Yes, he saw individuals, he spoke to different people, he said, you have this problem. He was able to relate, but he did not identify that as real. For the person who is saying, Swami, I have this problem, please help me, all that. Even though he knows it is not real, to help this person in their own unreal state, he will talk to them. But he is talking with full knowledge that this is unreal, but this person wants it. Even if I say, Swami, I am going to die out of this, for him it doesn't matter. In his real world, it doesn't really matter whether you're alive or dead, because you'll be getting a new body. But if you are so troubled, just to help you out, he will talk. So he is aware of the issues which you are having. He is aware of the multiplicity, but he also knows it is unreal, but this person thinks it is real. See, so the way they operate in the world is slightly different, because they don't need to be educated. That's what Swami is telling. This education, this is unreal, is not needed for a jnana, because they have already realized it's all unreal. So only the persons in between, in the middle, can understand, but who have not yet learned it, need this. And so Swami is spending time to explain and teach us. Sai Ram. That's my understanding. So I thought I will just share that.
Sai Ram, brother, very good explanation. Sai Ram.
So it's
thank you for analyzing this paragraph very, very nicely. Everybody gave your examples and beautifully. Thank you so much, because I wanted to remove my mirror. That's the reason I asked this question. I hope that everybody could benefit out of this paragraph for today. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. I think we have comprehended the idea that it's all mirror, it's all unreal. But now we have to experientially understand in our day-to-day life. I think that's the goal for us.
Saira, I think in 1 minute, 2 minutes, so quickly.
Yes.
There is Sangara's famous example, no? There's a snake, the rope seen as snake in the dim light. So in the dim light, when at the dusk, there's neither daylight nor the darkness. It's a dim light. So in the dim light, the piece of rope look to us as a snake. And we are totally disturbed and fear-stricken, and we take a candle and go near it and see, oh, it's a rope. So we are like in the dim light version. So only thing is we have to take the light and see whether it is snake or rope. There was never a rope. There was never a snake in the rope. But see, it's my thinking is snake. So there is no ignorance. There's nothing Maya in this world. Only thing is we are under ignorance. So the ignorance could be cured only through study circle, practice, deliberation, questioning, reading the book. Bhagawan meant so many things for reading and digest. and then get to go to practice. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, brother, that candle light is the jnana.
Yeah, jnana, or guru, or so many things. Yeah.
So, Sairam brother, and if we can put it in a nutshell, so jnani, under the jnana, so he doesn't have anything, he won't see anything separate. Everything he can see one because he is in one.
Yeah.
That's all, Sairam brother.
Yeah.
Sairam. So if everyone is okay, we can practice looking at the world and see whether we are seeing the mirror or we are seeing the images. So I think it's a lifelong practice for us. I think that's daily we have to remind ourselves. So with those thoughts, I think we will close for today and we will reconvene next week again. Thank you very much. We'll close with Samasta Loka and Shanti. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sairam brother.
Sairam.
Thank you.
Saira.
Sairam.